So in today's class, we shall discuss about the nomenclature of the drugs. See how the drugs are named. See, the nomenclature of drug or simply the naming of drugs, it is very much essential for the easier prescription of the drugs, right? See, for comprehension of the drug names or for easier prescription, the nomenclature of drugs are very important. And this nomenclature of drugs, they are done in three different ways. One is the drug will be given the chemical name, and the drug will be given non-proprietary name, and the drug will be given the third one. So the next page, the proprietary name. So first we shall know what do you mean by this chemical name. See, the chemical name more often it is given based on the structure that drug possesses. And this chemical name, as you know, in the chemistry, any molecule, be it organic or inorganic compound, it will be named by a body called as IUPAC. So International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry, or the Chemical Abstract Service, they will name the chemical compound. So likewise, the chemical name for a drug, it will be given by this body, that is IUPAC. It will assign the name for a drug according to its structure. So for a chemist or for a scientist, this chemical name will be of utmost importance because they will come to know the structure about the compound, the alignment of atoms, the alignment of various atoms in the compound, so that any alteration to a particular atom or any particular structural modification might lead to the alteration in the activity of a drug. So the chemist will be more interested in the chemical name of a drug, but it is not widely used. See, if you use a chemical name, it is not easily acceptable or it is not memorable. So the memory wise, it is not easily comprehended. So it is not widely used. So there are some exceptions. See, for example, diethyl ether. See, diethyl ether, it is very commonly used. It is a chemical name also. Based on structure, it is given the chemical name. So more often it is used for a diethyl ether. See the example for a chemical name. See, for example, paracetamol. What is the chemical name of the paracetamol? The paracetamol chemical name is N4-hydroxyphenylacetamide. See, if you prescribe or if a physician write this N4-hydroxyphenylacetamide, so very difficult to comprehend by the pharmacist. So you cannot identify it as a paracetamol right away by knowing the chemical name. It's just like these names. See, you know this famous celebrity. So what is this? Shri Amma Yangar Ayyappan. So who is this actor? Or Shivaji Rao Gayakwad, Konidala Shivashankara Varaprasad, or Singanalluru Putsamaya Mutturaj. So these are like chemical name, very difficult to comprehend. Whereas if you straight away tell or if you write Sridevi, so everyone will know Sridevi. If everyone knows Rajinikanth, everyone know about the Chiranjeevi, everyone knows about the Rajkumar. So these are like chemical names of the non-proprietary drugs. So the second name is the non-proprietary name. See, non-proprietary name, there will be no trademark issue assigned to this non-proprietary name. So non-proprietary name, it will not come with a trademark issues or proprietary right issue. And this non-proprietary name, it is easy to speak and spell, and more often these non-proprietary names are included in the textbooks and other scientific literature. So in textbook, see, for example, paracetamol, for example, diclofenac. So what are all the drug name that we often find in textbooks? They are all non-proprietary names. So we find two types of non-proprietary name. One is approved name and official name. See, approved name, it is also called by the adopted name. And this approved name, it is given or it is assigned to a drug as soon as it is introduced after discovery and development. See, as soon as it is introduced into the market, this approved name or adopted name will be given. So who will assign the name? There will be separate council in different countries. See, for example, in United States, there is United States Adopted Name Council. Or in UK, there will be British Adopted Name Council. They will assign the name instantly when it is introduced into the market. Or for uniformity, the WHO, they have given recommended international non-proprietary name. So this recommended international non-proprietary name, they will assign a name to a drug that will be called as approved or adopted name. So this name may or may not be included in a pharmacopoeia. I told pharmacopoeia is a literature which contains everything about a drug that will be issued by a particular country. So this is the pharmacopoeia based on which the physician will prescribe, the pharmacist will dispense. And this approved or adopted name, it may or may not include in the pharmacopoeia. Then there is another type of non-proprietary name called as official name. So this official name, it will be approved by the National Pharmacopoeia Commission. So this National Pharmacopoeia Commission, each country will be having different pharmacopoeia commission. See, for example, in America it will be United States Pharmacopoeia. In UK it will be British Pharmacopoeia. In India it will be Indian Pharmacopoeia. So this commission, they will assign a name for a drug, and that name we call it as official name. So why the word official name? Because this is the name that will be included in the pharmacopoeia. So this will be the name that will be included in the pharmacopoeia, official pharmacopoeia. So that's why the name official name. And this name, it might be same as that of approved name. See, approved or adopted name, see, for example, for paracetamol, the approved name is paracetamol, the official name is also the paracetamol, the same thing. And this official name, it will be given to the drug once it gets established in the market. It is not given as soon as it is introduced into the market. So only once it gets established in the market, then only the drug will be assigned the official name. That is the difference between an approved name and a official name. Both are non-proprietary names. And this non-proprietary name, it will indicate similarity with same class of drugs. See, for example, a penicillin or ampicillin or cloxacillin. So they all belongs to the group of penicillin. So they will be having the same suffix cillins. So it will indicate similarity with the same class of drugs. So earlier, so there used to be a change. There used to be difference in the way in which the drug is called in non-proprietary name. So country wise, there will be difference. See, for example, in UK, the drug will be called as pethidine, and the same drug will be called as meperidine in United States, and the same drug will be called as dolantin in Germany. So different non-proprietary names in different countries. So likewise in UK, there will be pentobarbital, see, barbiturate. So there is a group of drugs called as barbiturate. So this barbiturate in UK, it will end up with the suffix ONE, whereas in US it will end up with the suffix TAL. See, likewise acetaminophen and paracetamol. See, acetaminophen is a non-proprietary name in United States, whereas in British, in India, we call it as paracetamol. See, if you call paracetamol in US, so they hardly understand. They are more well versed with this acetaminophen, right? So likewise, and this non-proprietary name, see, in this non-proprietary name, it is a contraction of a chemical name. Say the chemical name will be contracted into this non-proprietary name. Say I already told the paracetamol chemical name is this one. So, and another chemical name of paracetamol is N-acetyl para-acetyl aminophenol. So they contract this chemical name. So how they contract? See here. So acetaminophen, it got its name by contraction of its chemical name. They took aminophenol from the chemical name. So likewise paracetamol also, they have taken para, then acet, then am, then the ol. So they have taken this paracetamol and acetaminophen by contracting the chemical name of the paracetamol. So country wise, one country will call by one name and another country will call by another name, the same non-proprietary drug. So to overcome this, the WHO, they have introduced this recommended international non-proprietary name. So what this recommended international non-proprietary name will do, it will give a common name to a drug. So instead of calling acetaminophen and paracetamol, the RINN, they will indicate paracetamol. You call paracetamol uniformly across the countries. So similarly, so earlier the British adopted name. So they used to call lignocaine and noradrenaline. So later on, the RINN, so recommended international non-proprietary name, they have prescribed this name, lidocaine and norepinephrine. So you should use this lidocaine and norepinephrine as a uniform name across the countries, no matter which country you live, so you use these words, so that there will be uniformity in naming of drugs across the countries. And there is another term called as name stem. So any branch of plant, it will originate from a single stem. So likewise, different names will be there for a same class of drug. So name stem is a term used to define the pharmacologically related group to which the drug belongs. See, for example, ampicillin, cloxacillin, by seeing this only, cillins, the same suffix, so it will belong to penicillin group. So likewise, rofecoxib, celecoxibs, so they are belong to COX inhibitors, selective COX inhibitors. So by seeing the suffix and prefix, say sulfamerazine, sulfamethoxazole, here the prefix are the same, so they belong to sulfonamide class of antibiotics. So it is a term used to define the pharmacologically related group to which the drug belongs. By seeing the name only, you will see it will belong to a particular class of drugs. So that is the term name stems. Then the third way in which the drug can be named is proprietary name. See, proprietary name, also you can call it as brand name or the trade name. So pharmaceutical firm, generally they will give a name to a drug what they manufacture. So that will be called as proprietary name. See, for example, paracetamol. Paracetamol will be branded as Dolo 650. See, Dolo 650, it is a brand name, it is a proprietary name. Or else Tylenol. So they will give Tylenol. It is a brand name by a different pharmaceutical firm. And see, for example, Ranbaxy, they might have given some name. And Mankind pharmaceutical firm, they will give some name. And another Cipla, they will give another name. So likewise, different pharmaceutical firm, they are going to give different proprietary name or the brand name. And usually clinicians, they will prescribe the medication by using this proprietary name only. So they generally write crocin. So you crocin, you take the tablet daily in morning and evening, say less. So more often they use this proprietary name and very less they use non-proprietary names. And there is a way in which you have to write the proprietary name. So the first letter should be in capital and there should be a superscript R. It stands for the trademark. So trademark will also, it will be there. Superscript R should be there. The starting letter should be in capital. So that's the way in which you have to write the proprietary name or the brand name. And there is another term which always comes into picture. It is always takes limelight in naming of drug, that is generic name. So what is this generic name? See, more often government boasts of using. See, I have given so many intense incentives to use generic names. See, Janaushadhi. See, Janaushadhi Kendra are there where they concentrate more on dispersing of generic drugs. See, what do you mean by this generic drugs or generic name? See, generic name, more oftenly it is used as non-proprietary name. More often non-proprietary names are also called as generic name. See, to be more precise or etymologically, this generic name, it is not exactly same as that of non-proprietary name. Generic name, more often it refers to the same chemical or pharmacological group to which it belongs. See, generic comes from the word genus. See, same genus of drugs. See, for example, sulfonamide. Sulfonamide is a genus to which the other drugs will belong. Sulfamerazine, sulfamethoxazole, sulfadimidine, so many will belong to this genus of drug. So this sulfonamide is called as generic name, to be more precise. But now what's happening? Generic name is used as the non-proprietary name, or non-proprietary name is more commonly used as a generic name. Now non-proprietary names are used which is not trademarked or comes under proprietary rate. See, proprietary name or brand name. See, Dolo 650 is a brand name. Paracetamol is not a brand name. See, paracetamol, you can use it by any pharmaceutical firm. See, any physician, they can write paracetamol. It doesn't belong to any pharmaceutical firm. See, what will happen? See, for example, the first discovery of paracetamol. The paracetamol has been first discovered by some ex-pharmaceutical firm. So what that pharmaceutical firm will do, so they will apply for the trademark license. They will apply similar to this copyright. So they will apply for patent. So that patent or the brand, the trademark issue, it will be given for 20 years. That means for 20 years, that paracetamol cannot be produced, manufactured, or prepared in any way or sold in any way to the market. So that is the meaning of trademark are licensed for 20 years. See, after the expiry of 20 years, what the other pharmaceutical company will do, they will start preparing paracetamol in a different name. They will give Crocin, they will give P450. So in different name, that paracetamol will be sold. So now that paracetamol, see earlier some ex-pharmaceutical firm, they will be selling that paracetamol under Tylenol name for 60 rupees. But after the expiry of 20 years, see what the pharmaceutical firm will do, they will start selling it for 20 rupees. So that drug will become generic drug. After the expiry of that trademark period or the proprietary period or the brand period or the copyright period, so then the manufacture of drugs, we call it as generic drugs or generic names, okay. And there are so many issues related to the generic drugs. See, for example, for reproducing the drugs, for reproducing the generic drugs also, there are so many regulations are there. See, one such regulation is the drug should be bioequivalent. So that's the assignment question. What do you mean by bioequivalence? You cannot simply reproduce a drug. See, already paracetamol has been discovered by that ex-pharmaceutical company. See, I will take the basic structure from that company. I will prepare this basic structure of the paracetamol. I will sell it. So it is not like that. It should compatible with the bioequivalence. See, what is bioequivalence? That's your assignment question. So many things associated with generic name also, not so simple to prepare and manufacture and dispense this generic drug also. So this is about nomenclature of drug. So to repeat, nomenclature of drug is done in 3 ways. So when it is called by chemical name, non-proprietary name, proprietary name. Chemical name, it is a basic chemical structure of the drug. And non-proprietary name, it is a contraction of a chemical structure. So what we use often in the textbook and we see in the scientific literature and more commonly used name. Then the proprietary name, it is given by the respective pharmaceutical firm and easily identifiable, and the physician prescribe the drug in the proprietary name only. And the generic drug, so many issues with this generic drug. So this is about the nomenclature of drug. Then the assignment questions. See, Rantac is an example of dash name. Then abbreviate RINN, USAN, BAN, USP, IP. Then what is bioequivalence? Then proprietary names are commonly used in textbooks and scientific literature, true or false. Write chemical name, non-proprietary name and proprietary name of the following drugs, diclofenac and the gentamicin. See, while writing comments also, don't try to copy as far as possible. Try to dig out your own answer, try to write your own answers. Thank you.